student. How are you all? I am Himakshi Surti from Sri Vasisht Vidyalaya. This is my video of the revision chapter number 1 and 2. The first chapter, Northern Mountain and Northern Plains. Combinedly I am presenting here a revision video of these two lessons. So let's start with it. Revision of Northern Mountain and Northern Plains. We are going to revise both the lesson information together to revise this portion. So let's start with it. Northern Mountains. It's a northern body of India. This Northern Mountains stretches across the northern boundary of India. In the northern boundary of India, Himalayas and Kanchenjunga, two mountain ranges are there. Himalayas, which is the highest mountain range in the world. Many highest mountain peaks are located in Himalayas. The long curve of Jammu and Kashmir in the west to Arunachal Pradesh in the east. That means it makes a long curve and it starts from Jammu and Kashmir and gets end to Arunachal Pradesh. The east and west extend, matlab the length of the east and west is 2500 kilometer and the width of these Himalaya mountains is 450 kilometer in Jammu and Kashmir and 160 kilometer in the northeastern side. This forms a natural boundary between India and China. This will get more clear to you in the next slide. You can see this picture. In this picture, the boundaries between India and China is shown. It starts from Jammu and Kashmir until gets end towards the Arunachal Pradesh. Now we'll see the next. Himalayas can be divided into three parallel ranges. Which are the three parallel ranges? First, the Greater Himalaya, it's called Himadri. Second, the Lesser Himalaya, it was called Himachal. And the third, Outer Himalayas, it was also known as Shivalik. We are going to learn all these three ranges individually. Next, first we'll go with the Himadri range. You can see the picture of Himadri range. It is the northernmost range in the Himalayas. Its highest range. This is the highest range with the height of 6,000 meters. The mountains here are always remains covered with snow throughout the year. The most of the highest peak are found in this Himadri range, such as Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga and Annapurna. These are the highest peak which are found in Himadri range. The next is Himachal range. This range is found between Himadri and the Shivalik. It means Himachal range is lying between the northernmost Himadri range and the lowest range Shivalik range, in between. The mountains here in Himachal range are not so high as found in Himadri, but they are less height than Himadri range. These ranges have beautiful valleys like Kashmir Valley, Kulu Valley and Kangra valleys. This Himachal range is also covers a beautiful hill stations like Shimla, Mussoorie, Nainital, Almora and Darjeeling are located in this range. We have also learnt about the life of the people in Himachal range. Before that, I would like to discuss the life of the people in Himadri is very difficult as the Himadri remains cold throughout the year. The only tourism is the income of the Himadri range people. But now in Himachal range, the people some of our areas are found fertile, so people are farmers also. They are growing crops, and here the valleys, beautiful valleys are there. This Himachal range is also one of an attraction for the tourist. So beside the tourist income, they have the agriculture income also. Some of an areas are famous for orchards and tea plantations. So another income they can earn from orchards and tea planting also. Now we'll see the next range, that is the lowest range, Shivalik range. Shivalik range forms the southernmost and the lowest range. This is the picture. You can see Shivalik range. The slope of the mountains are covered with thick forest. Here the mountains are not so high, but they are having a less height. That's why these are hills rather than mountains. The slope of these hills remains covered with thick forest. As the thick forest, the varieties of wildlife are also found. That means many type of wild animals and birds are found in this thick forest. In the Shivalik range, the most of the mountain slopes are very fertile. So the people living here are also doing farming, and this land is also used for growing crops. Now we'll see the next. We have also seen the Terai region. Terai region is found towards the south of the Shivalik range. And this is the Terai region has a flat marshy area with where the crops such as rice, wheat and sugarcane are cultivated. You can see the picture of rice, wheat and sugarcane here. The map below is also showing the red part is a Terai region below the Shivalik range. In the northeast, the hills are not very high and are covered by thick forest. The hill region like Garo, Khasi, Jensha, Naga, Lusai and Miso are located in Terai region. Now we'll see the importance of Himalayas. Why the Himalaya is most important for us? It acts as a natural boundary so that the neighboring countries, it creates a natural boundary between the neighboring countries and India. It also protects us from the foreign invasion since times immemorial. Means Himalaya is very old mountain since many years. More than thousands of years, it protects India from the foreign countries. The third point is it prevents the cold biting winds of Northern Asia from entering India. In North Asia, many of the cold countries are located. The cold winds blows from there never gets enter in India easily because of these tall mountains. And the last point, the Himalaya mountain also protects the rain-bearing winds leaving India, resulting the heavy rainfall over the countries. It means the rain-bearing winds which blows from the Arabian Sea will never go out of the India. It remains in India only, and that's why the India is receiving heavy rainfall. So this is the outline of the first lesson, Northern Mountains. Now we are going to know the main points of the next lesson, that is Northern Plains. Let's start with it. Now we'll see the location of the Northern Plains. This is our second lesson. In this, whatever we have learned, we are going to see the outlines on which you have to focus more. Northern Plains lies between the Himalayas in the north and the Peninsula Plateau in the south. This map will clear you the location of the northern plains. So let's see this location of the northern plains with the help of this map area. So you can see the highlighted green part and the highlighted blue part. The highlighted blue part in the northern side shows you the northern mountain area, but this highlighted green patch shows you the northern plain area. So northern plain area lies between the northern mountain and the peninsula plateau. Which are the main states are located in northern plain area? So stars showing the states are located in northern plain area. Some of a part of Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, some part of Meghalaya, Assam, and some part of Tripura is also covered in northern plain areas. These many states are covered with northern plains areas. Northern plain area, it remains very fertile because the many rivers are flowing from northern mountains are depositing a silt and sand in the plain area. That's why the plain area becomes very fertile. Now we'll see the next. In this lesson, we have already studied and we are going to go through this river basins. Location of the northern plain covers with three main river basins. River basin in the northern plains are Ganga river basin, Brahmaputra river basin and Indus river basin. Here the picture of Ganga basin is shown. You can see the area covered by Ganga river is called Ganga river basin. And the second picture shows you the Sangam. Sangam means here the river Ganga and river Yamuna gets meet. This is the meeting point of river Ganga and river Yamuna. The name given to this place is Sangam. Now we'll see the next slide. As we have studied, these river basins are divided into three parts. The Ganga basin located in the center of India and the Brahmaputra basin is located in the east side of India and the Indus basin found in the west side of India. Now we'll see one by one what is the Ganga basin and we'll see the Brahmaputra basin and Indus basin individually. Let's start. Before starting with the basin, we'll see the important terms. Here are the definition of basin and tributaries. What is the definition of basin? The area watered by river and its tributaries, means a small streams are meeting to a main big river is called tributaries. The area watered by river and its tributaries is called basin area. And the next, tributaries. What is tributaries? A small streams that flows and meet to the larger river, get into the larger river. These are called tributaries. Now we'll see the next slide. Let's start with the Ganga river basin. As we have already studied, the Ganga river basin covers the area of 8,61,404 square kilometer in the North India. The river means originally this river starts flowing from Gangotri, and the place where the Ganga river starts, it's also called Gaumukh in Himalayas. It flows swiftly down towards the mountain and gets enter into the plain near the place Haridwar. This Ganga river basin flows through many states. Here the name of the states are given. The Ganga river flows through Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal. Ganga river flows in all these states, through all these states. As it flows down towards the plain area, then it's also joined by the tributaries. The biggest tributary is the Yamuna river. The Yamuna is the longest tributary of Ganga and it joins Ganga at Allahabad. The meeting point of river Ganga and Yamuna is called Sangam, as I have shown you the picture earlier. The eastern part of the Ganga river basin receives more rainfall than the western part. The most of the river occurs during the rainy and monsoon season. Now we'll see the next basin, that is Brahmaputra. This is the picture of Brahmaputra river basin. Brahmaputra river is the area watered by Brahmaputra and it starts from Tibet and it is also known as the river Shangpo in Tibet. It flows parallel to the Himalayas in Tibet and gets entered into the India through Arunachal Pradesh. Brahmaputra river starts from Tibet and gets entered in India through Arunachal Pradesh. It flows through the valley of Assam and turns towards the south and enters Bangladesh, where it meets to the river Padma and forms a distributary of river Ganga. Okay, Padma is a distributary of river Ganga. Means Padma river gets distributed from the main river Ganga. The Brahmaputra and Ganga river forms a largest delta in the world. The biggest delta was formed by Brahmaputra and the Ganga river, and this delta is known as Sundarban Delta and it is also known as Ganga and Brahmaputra Delta. This delta is most fertile region in a country, thus its name is, another nickname is given to this delta is the Green Delta. The main crops are grown near this delta are rice, jute, maize, pulses, oilseeds and wheat. Now we see the next river basin, that is Indus river basin. You can see this map. This map will show you the Indus river basin area. In the map, this is the Indus basin. It with its 5 tributaries. Main Indus basin, from there the 5 tributaries are getting separated, that are the Jhelum, the Chenab, the Ravi and the Beas and Satluj from vast fertile tract of the western part of northern plains of India. All these tributaries originally found in Trans-Himalaya region, which we have already studied in the first lesson. The Satluj and Ravi and Beas are contributed to the Indian share of the Indus basin. Most of the rivers are flowing in Afghanistan and Pakistan, but the rivers Satluj and Beas are contributed from Indian. That's why this Satluj and Ravi and Beas are contributed to Indian share of the Indus basin. Now we'll see the next slide. The importance of the northern plains. What is the importance of the northern plains? Northern plains are also equally important like northern mountains. Northern plains are the gift of Himalaya river. The river flowing from Himalaya are bringing us silt and sand with them, and this flowing water gets stored in the plain area. That's why the basins are formed over there. And near the northern plains, because of these rivers, the northern plains soil becomes very fertile. Northern plains are also called granary of India because many crops are grown in this fertile soil, such as rice, millet, wheat, pulses, etc. are grown in this plain area. This region has well developed agro-based, means agricultural product based industries such as jute and cotton textile, sugar, vegetable oil, dairy products and leather. These are the raw materials are easily found here as the northern plains are growing many agricultural crops. The northern plains are thickly populated, means the people are living in a number. That's why the northern plains are thickly populated and well developed. Many industries and factories are found here in terms of transport and communications. As the northern plains are very fertile, the crops are also grown and agro-based industries and factories are found here. This area remains thickly populated by the people, and this area are also found well developed in transport and communication also. So these are the combined information of both the chapter. I hope this all the informations are very useful for the test and revision. Thank you everyone. Stay at home, stay safe and learn whichever information given in this video. Thank you.